You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From Los Angeles, California, and Maria Menounos, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On. Spotlight On is a long-form interview series featuring actors and TV personalities. And now, from the world's #1 TV after-show platform, this is AfterBuzz TV Spotlight On.
Hey everyone, welcome to Spotlight On. I'm your host, Kristin Carole, and I am so excited today. We have actor Ian Anthony Dale. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
And you're going back. I want to talk about really quick. You're going to Hawaii coming up tomorrow to go back to filming.
I am. I'm excited to return to one of my favorite places in the world. Yeah. I'll be returning to the show in season 5, and I start work on Wednesday. So I'm really excited.
And I want to talk about your. There's so many things I want to ask you about. Let's get started with TNT's new show, and your role on that. Tell us a little bit about it for people who haven't seen it yet, because it just premiered in June.
Yes, Murder in the First is a 10-episode murder mystery that intimately dissects a single case over the course of an entire season. It follows homicide detectives Terry English and Hildy Mulligan, played by Taye Diggs and Kathleen Robertson, as they investigate two seemingly unrelated murders, but the mystery deepens when they realize both murders have a common denominator in Silicon Valley tech genius Eric Blunt, played by Tom Felton. I play their kind of no-nonsense lieutenant, and it'll be interesting to see how, as the season unfolds, my character, he's very ambitious. He aspires to one day be the mayor, and sometimes that ambitious drive can affect his relationships and cloud his judgment. And in the last few episodes of the season, we'll see Lieutenant Kodo start to become a little unhinged, and see how all the pressure of this big high-profile case, see how he reacts to that. And it's been a lot of fun, and we've aired 7 episodes. Got 3 more to go, and I hope people are enjoying it as much as we did making it.
How is it with that cast too? I mean, Taye Diggs is one of the most recognizable actors out there. How has it been coming to that set? And I imagine too, even though it's a serious drama, there's got to be some fun as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you were to just come to visit set and see the antics of the cast members and the crew members, you would never guess that we're filming a drama, because it's, we're constantly playing practical jokes and laughing. And Taye, Taye does a lot of serious stuff, but I don't know if everybody knows, but he's one of the funniest people I know.
Has he pulled a prank on you yet?
He hasn't pulled one on me, but he has a way of making you laugh, by really doing very, very little. But yeah, it's everybody's always cracking jokes and having a good time on set, so it's a good environment.
And I was reading, for your character in particular, you're able to kind of ask your brother back home, because he's a homicide detective, right?
That's right. My brother Bobby has been working for the Minneapolis Police Department for almost 15, 20 years now, and he's my number one resource. Anytime I have questions about the script or trying to gain an insight into the psychology of law enforcement, particularly homicide, he's always very willing to share his experiences, and some of them are pretty wild, and it takes a lot to be a homicide detective. You see a lot of crazy things, things that you can't erase. But he's a great resource, and I love him for it.
Have you ever gotten to shadow him on the job?
I have.
Any experiences that really shocked you in front of your eyes?
I've gone on a few ride-alongs with him, and I know that whenever I'm on a ride-along with him, he's kind of looking for action because he wants to show me what it's like. And unfortunately, I should say, we haven't had to respond to anything too serious. But I will say that anytime we had to respond to a call, and he'd throw on the flashers, and he'd hit the gas. I mean, my adrenaline would start pumping. I mean, it's to have to do that day in and day out. It's a very stressful environment, I gotta say. It's probably not for me. But God bless my brother for doing it.
What did he say when you got this particular role? Was he like, "Oh, you better call me for this," or "You're not"? Is he a younger brother or older brother? Older brother. So is he like, "Kid, I'm gonna show you how it's done"?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably my harshest critic when it comes to the authenticity of what I do on the show when it comes to law enforcement, and that's great though. I kind of expect that from him, but. This isn't the first detective I've played, and so I've learned from my mistakes in the past. Whenever I've made a mistake, filming something or with something I've said, or like an inaccurate protocol of how to clear a room, properly, he'll be the first one to call me and tell me that I did it wrong. And so, I guess over the years, I've been corrected on how to properly TV police, and. And so for Lieutenant Kodo, I feel like it's the most authentically played detective that I've done thus far. Yeah.
That's great. So what can we expect, and what can you tease for the last 3 episodes?
I mean, really, the weight of this case that we're dealing with on the show. I mean, it's the Tom Felton character is very much like a Mark Zuckerberg. Very high profile, has a lot of money, a lot of influence, a lot of power, and imagine if Mark Zuckerberg were suddenly thrust into the middle of a murder investigation, how high profile that would be. And everyone kind of in the periphery of that, whether it be the DA or the lieutenants or the detectives, there's so much pressure on them to get a conviction. And a conviction means promotions and raises and popularity. For my character, it means getting to that next rung on the ladder and bolstering his chances of becoming the mayor one day. And so Kodo carries around a lot of pressure, wanting to get that conviction. And so, that stress starts to weigh on him, and he starts to make decisions that aren't, the clearest. We'll start to see how the dynamic with his relationship with the DA, played by Nicole Parker, we'll start to see how that affects him. Does he make decisions that benefit his relationship with her and that benefit his detectives, or does he make decisions that benefit solely himself? And so, we'll see Kodo be tested, and we'll get to see the true kind of color of his character in the next couple episodes.
That's got to be fun for you to play too, because it's almost like playing 2 separate characters into one.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get to play a character that is dealing with some internal struggle or is complex in some ways, that's always those are the best types of roles,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm lucky. It's such a big cast, and not everybody has gotten a chance to really. Show what their characters are made of, and I got to thank Eric Lodel and Stephen Bochco for writing episode 9. That really does give people a peek into Kodo's life and his what's going on in his head, and I can't wait for people to see that one. I've been waiting all season to check it out. Hopefully it's not bad. We'll see.
Well, and also right after when this show is done, you've got 2 more on the horizon.
Yeah,
you're now signed up for. Congratulations on Heart of Dixie, and then returning for Hawaii Five-0, which we touched a little bit on before. Yeah. But how is it returning to the set and kind of knowing that you're able to take this character even further?
For Hawaii Five-0?
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. It's been a character that I've really enjoyed playing over the course of the last 3 seasons now. This will be the 4th. I've developed some wonderful relationships with the people there, and I know it's like a homecoming almost. It's become a home away from home for me. I have so many friends there, and it's just nice to feel like I get to be part of such a great show and a show that's beloved by people all around the world. You know, it's wild how popular Hawaii Five-0 is. I mean, I travel out of the country and people are like, you know, recognizing me from 5-0, and that, you know, that's a testament to how popular it is globally.
Is that what you get recognized the most for, would you say?
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Now, I'm always curious, and I had a spotlight on with Amy Gumnick, and she's on Turn. When you have, because in Hawaii Five-0, you've had a few kind of steamy scenes. How do you prep for something like that?
That's a good question.
Just don't think about it. You take a shot, and I'm just kidding.
I try to always stay prepared to be ready for steamy scenes, because you never know when they're going to happen. In fact, I am preparing for one right now. It's
usually like a bathtub or a shower.
Yes, yeah. There's
a theme. There's a theme going on with your character.
Next up is the ocean and a shower, but it's an outdoor shower, so that'll be a new kind of environment.
There you go. I like it. Bring it all together.
Yeah, no, I
gotta ask for the ladies. I have to.
Here's an interesting little tidbit. I have been hiking a ton lately to try to make my California tan look like a Hawaiian tan, because if I show up in Hawaii and I'm too pale, they'll spray tan me, and I do not want that to happen. I've had it happen to me once, and it was the strangest experience. I show up to Hawaii, and I tell me I'm gonna shoot this shower scene, and they're like, Ian, you know, would you like to be spray tan? And I'm like, no, not at all. That sounds awful. And they said, well, we'll take off your shirt. Let's see how tan you are. And I thought I was pretty tan, coming from California, hiking all the time. And I took off my shirt. They're like, yeah, I think we're going to have to spray tan you. So they're like, just, you know, go to your hotel. We'll have somebody come. You know, it'll be all taken care of. And so I'm in my hotel room. I'm like wearing these little, you know, tighty whities. And I get this knock on the door, and I answer the door. It's this little, like, short, kind of pudgy, older Hawaiian auntie, you know, wearing a muumuu, and you know, this case filled with her, you know, air compressor and her spray gun and everything. And
she sounds like it'd be no nonsense too with that.
It was so hilarious, and I'm like, so what do we do? And she brings me into the bathroom, and I'm literally just standing there, you know, practically naked, as this little old cute lady, you know, sprays me, and it's bizarre. So I think one experience of that will be enough. So,
at least it wasn't one of those booths where you have to turn from side to side. I've
like
heard
that.
About those. I haven't.
I guess maybe mine was you know, extra special and unique, because
there you go. Who else gets that?
Yeah, it came from a person, you know, a nice, sweet older lady, you know.
The setting makes up for it. Talk a little bit. I've never been to Hawaii. What's one of your favorite things about going back there?
I love to be outdoors. I try to spend as little amount of time in my hotel room as possible. And usually I'm pretty successful at that. I have friends who grew up on the North Shore, and you know, the North Shore is the mecca of surfing, and I don't pretend to be a very good surfer, but I like to try. And so I surf a lot. I go hiking a lot. There's just endless hiking trails, and it's so lush and so beautiful. It rains every day there, but it's also sunny every day. So the nature is just, I mean, you can't ask for a better environment. You know, I hike to the tops of some of these peaks, and you look out and around, and you can't believe that you're actually still in the United States. You know, you really do feel like you're in Southeast Asia or something, but it's such a beautiful environment. That's what kind of draws me back every time.
Do you take your lines out on your hike, and that's how you practice them?
You mean practice my lines like as I'm hiking up and down the mountains?
Exactly. Make it more of a challenge.
That would be really strange. My friend Jesse might think I'm going a little crazy if I start.
You start walking by somebody and just like reciting them.
I do that actually. You know, I was on a hike the other day, and my I'm attending a wedding in New York in September, and the bridal party wants everybody attending to prepare a karaoke song. Because I guess it's going down big time, and like they're having a band, and I think each band the band's going to learn everybody's song ahead of time. So really, you have to get up there and perform.
That's awesome.
So I'm running through my list of like favorite like 80s songs, and like Eddie Money's "Take Me Home Tonight" might be the winner at this point.
That's a good one. That's a crowd pleaser.
I mean, people can sing along to that one, right? And get all jazzed.
You have to pick one that people can sing with too.
You can't
just
put them to
in
sleep.
Case.
You can't really pick a slow song unless you just kill it, right? Unless you just got this beautiful velvety voice, which I do not have. So I'll be picking the more up tempo. But I was on the mountain, and I was had my headphones in, and I was just singing these ridiculous 80s songs at the top of my lungs as people were passing by, and they were just laughing. And I would just kind of have to laugh with them because
take out a video.
I realized how absurd I probably looked and definitely sounded at the time. So, but in Hawaii, I usually like to arrive in Hawaii with my lines ready to go. So,
that's amazing. And I again, congratulations on Heart of Dixie. When do you start all of that?
I actually already completed my arc on that. I worked on that for the last month. I did a couple episodes, but it was a lot of fun. It's a good group of people. It's a little more lighthearted than what I typically do. So that was a nice change of pace for me. I played this Southern gentleman from a wealthy Southern family called the Daltons. My character's name is Henry Dalton. So I know you look at me and you don't really think Henry Dalton with a Southern accent, but I'm excited that they gave me an opportunity to play a character like that, and I had a lot of fun.
How long did it take you to master the Southern accent?
Well,
you're from Minnesota.
I'm from Minnesota.
So usually they have a little. I'm from Chicago, so I know the Midwest accent.
You seem to have rid yourself of the Chicago accent.
Occasionally, I'll be like, "Are you from somewhere?" Because my A's, I'll drop my A's occasionally.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't really have much of a Midwest accent. I mean, it comes out when I go home and when I'm around my family. But the Southern accent, I had 2 days to prepare. But there's this great dialect coach in LA. His name is Michael Buster, and he was actually in Baton Rouge working on something himself. But he was kind enough to give me some coaching via email on how to say these lines, authentically. But what would happen is I'd show up on set and we end up improvising stuff. And so I'd have to say these lines that I'd never practiced before. And you just kind of hope that you're in the right Southern frame of mind and it sounds somewhat authentic, but it went well. It went about as well as I think it could have gone. So
now a role I thought was so cool. I actually for a while played when I was in Florence. A bunch of us would go around and we'd play video games, and you are Scorpion for Mortal Kombat. We used to play Mortal Kombat versus DC Comics.
Okay, all right.
How was that? Because that's something completely different, and there's a whole fan base behind that as well.
Yeah, this is the first time the first year in a while that I wasn't at ComicCon, and I kind of missed it actually.
Yeah. It was crazy. That's why my voice is hoarse. I was here for 4 days and still catching up on sleep and gaining it back.
That's a long time to be there. Yeah. 36 hours is usually about the right amount of time for me. Any longer and I probably end up I don't know. I don't want to even think about where I might end up. It's a great place to enjoy yourself.
Well, you're on the other end too, being interviewed. So I would have been the one interviewing you in years past. Yeah.
Right? No, absolutely. But no, Scorpion. I'm lucky to have been a part of that world that's such a storied franchise as Mortal Kombat. It's so different though. You're playing a character with superpowers, and it's hard, for me. I mean, I put a lot of work in my preparation, and when you're trying to prepare for a role like that, where the character, rips people's heads off and takes their spine with them. I mean, you really, how do you prepare for that? You know, how do you prepare to shapeshift and you know, disappear from one place and show up in another seconds later? It's, you know, I just decided, you know what, just have fun with this one and go for it, get into it. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I
was reading Scorpion's well-known quote. You actually recited it first in Japanese. Is that?
I did. The season 1 of Mortal Kombat Legacy was at least my storyline. The Scorpion Sub-Zero storyline was told entirely in Japanese, because it was a look back into the past, into Scorpion's life before he became Scorpion, when he was just Hanzo Hasashi, living in feudal Japan. And so, you know, Kevin Tantron, our director, really wanted there to be as much authenticity in those episodes as possible. So he had us do it in Japanese, which was, wow, that was a challenge. That was quite a challenge. But yeah, I had to say get over here in Japanese first, and then I got to do it in English.
Then you have to do it with that deep voice that he does it with,
yeah,
too.
Yeah,
get over here.
Yeah, get over here. No, here, you know, the best is when we were at ComicCon last year, and we were doing the panel for Mortal Kombat Legacy 3, and one of the fans asked Ed Boon, the creator of Mortal Kombat, to do the get over here, because he's actually the original voice to do it on the video game. And so he was sitting just 2 seats away from me, and he did it without the mic, because he didn't even need the mic. He can project it so loud. But it was a pretty awesome moment. You know, it's a pretty awesome moment.
And not only do you do that, you also, to kind of expand the video games, you've been a voiceover on a few of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? You know, what do you like doing more? Do you kind of like the break from being on camera and having to worry about spray tans to just be in the booth and just be with the mic?
It's completely different. I mean, I really like the interplay between actors. I like interaction. I like being able to work off somebody. I mean, that I would prefer over being in a booth by yourself any day. But, you know, it's a whole different experience. You know, you're in a booth, you've got a booth director sitting outside your booth, and he basically says, okay, here's your next line. And for the one I'm working on right now, I'm working on a video game called Battlefield Redemption, I believe it's called. One of those.
It'll be out later.
Yeah.
It's okay. TBA.
Yes, and I'm playing the thief. So it's the character when you can play self characters. I'll be the thief. I'll be the voice of the thief. And so all my lines are like, well, shit. Can you swear on this show?
Marissa, beep.
You can.
She's good.
I got a thumbs up.
She's good to go.
Well, in any case,
so curse away. No, I'm just kidding.
Most of my lines have curse words in them. They're usually, and all my character does is like kill cops and blow up cop cars. And so there's a lot of yelling, a lot of straining. And so like the booth director will be like, so here's your next line. This is what just happened to your character. This is what's going to happen. This is who you're saying it to. Now go. And then you fire off a couple takes, and he's like, okay, we got it. Let's move on to the next line. And then again, the same, you know, set of instructions. And so it's very different.
Which line do you like to say the most? Get ready, Marissa.
I don't know. I mean, any line with the F word in it is a pretty cool line, I must say. Yeah.
Mother effer.
Yeah. Get in that mother effing car.
There we go.
Yeah. Who the F do you think you are? You know, things of that nature.
To get paid to curse, like stuff that you end up doing in your car, like that's
yeah.
nice.
No, it's great. It's awesome. I will say though, you know, these video games are violent.
They really are.
You know, spine rips, blowing up cop cars with cops in them. It's just like, wow. I didn't realize my character, you know, actually did that until I had a couple sessions in the booth, and then I'm like, hey, can I see some of the footage of what you guys have so far? He's like, yeah, let me show you your character. And my character is just like taking out that cop and taking out that cop and blowing up that cop car, and it's just like, wow, he's a real piece of shit. Yeah, awesome. I'm sure my brother will really appreciate me having done this job. Yeah. So, but it was a fun job.
And I was watching an interview. You kind of only got to the Super Mario video game.
Yeah,
age,
wow,
right?
you did your research.
I like to make sure I know what's going on to an extent.
During the first round of promoting Mortal Kombat, I'm sure I was confusing a lot of people as to what my actual experience was playing the games. Because in some interviews I'd be like, yeah, I played it. And then like other interviews I'd be really candid and be like, yeah, I never played it.
No.
So the truth of the matter is, yeah, I did play Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and I had that game that had all 3 in 1. So it was the track, Duck Hunt, Super Mario Brothers, and I played that until it just didn't work anymore. And then my parents were like, "Look, if you want to keep up with this gaming thing, you're gonna have to spend your own money on it." And I was like, "No, I think I'd rather go outside and skateboard." So I lost track of it a long time ago, and I've never really picked it back up. But I enjoyed voicing these characters and playing the live action versions of them. But yeah, it's a different hobby.
I also heard you were more into baseball, and that was something.
Yeah,
there was a big transition there that went from baseball to acting, where you ended up.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about your journey, because I feel like a lot of people, especially where we are right now in LA, are trying to figure out where they want to go, and everybody's journey is so different. So I want to hear how yours got started.
When you're young, you're just trying to figure out what you're passionate about, right? And that's why we have school and college, and to figure out what you love. And fortunately, when I was in high school, I already knew I loved baseball, and I just kind of happened to fall into theater, and I discovered this whole new world of imagination and excitement that I quickly became passionate about. And so, suddenly at a very young age, I had these 2 hobbies that I absolutely loved. And then, my baseball career was cut short due to injuries. And fortunately, I still had one thing that I could really kind of grab onto and pursue, 100%. And I'm so lucky that I was able to figure out a way to make a living doing it. It was gonna, if I couldn't be a pro baseball player, then I guess being a professional actor is a good second.
Yeah. You could eventually play a baseball player.
I did actually. I
Mr. 300.
Mr. 3000. Yeah.
3000. Excuse me.
I got to don a professional major league uniform, and we even took batting practice at Miller Park one day.
Did you show off? Like, hey guys, I got this.
You know what? No, I mean, it was just a treat to be able to step into that batter's cage and take BP from one of the coaches of the Milwaukee Brewers and hit with a wood bat, and just that entire experience was like a dream come true, because I got to play baseball and get paid for it. So technically, I got to play some pro ball. But it was
Were you
great.
okay being taught by a Brewers coach, being from Minnesota, like with the Twins?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Twins. What's your biggest rivalry?
I don't know,
I
actually.
don't think there's really a big one. I mean, I'm a Cubs fan, so I'm against the Sox and the Cardinals. I got like 2 people I got to fight on both ends.
Yeah, I really don't know. The American League, probably Tampa Bay or maybe Detroit is a rivalry for the Twins. But yeah, no, I didn't have any qualms about being taught by. Actually, we had a bunch of ex-professional baseball players teaching us at Tulane University. That's where we would practice for the first month before we started filming. So I think my pitching coach was a former St. Louis Cardinal. So yeah,
I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sure it was really great. One of the things I also want to ask is, what's been the best advice throughout your career? Something you carry with you.
There's been a number of anecdotes that have been shared with me that have helped me have guided me on my path. When I moved to Los Angeles, I said, give it 10 years, because I knew that things don't happen overnight. only for a very select, lucky few. And so in knowing that I was going to be here for 10 years, before I kind of made that first evaluation, should I stay or should I go? It allowed me to be patient, and being patient is so important. When I first moved to LA, I worked as a carpenter for 2 years while I took acting classes and found the right representation, because I didn't want to just get here fresh off the boat and start auditioning and not be ready, So that knowing that I had 10 years allowed me to be able to feel comfortable to just spend the first 2 years training. And I'm so happy that I did, I would have totally sabotaged so many relationships had I gotten out there right away. But then, then the other thing is just there's so much that's out of your control in this business. But the one thing you can't control is how hard you work. And so just work your ass off, There's this Michael King quote that I absolutely love. It's from a book he has called Acting in Film. He says, and I'm sure he might have gotten this from somebody else, but it says, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. And so for me, it's all about working hard and preparing and just being ready for when you get that chance. And that's really helped me throughout this career so far.
Great.
Yeah.
I've heard that quote. I always think about that. Like, you always have to be prepared because you never know.
You never know when you're going to have a shirtless scene on Hawaii Five-0.
Exactly. So we got about 10 more minutes. I want to do if you guys watch my other Spotlight On, I do my super fan questions. So I'm going to continue with that with Ian.
Okay.
So my first one is always, what are you obsessed with right now? Like, if we were to talk about anything that you wanted to, what do you want to talk about? Is there a sport, there's a movie, there's a certain, whatever it could be, food.
Okay. Well, I'm obsessed with learning how to install a in-wall home theater system, putting the speakers in the walls.
That's why you're checking out our theater next door.
Yeah,
that's a big screen.
Yeah, no, I've got a great electronic drop-down screen. I got a great projector, but I've always mounted my speakers outside the walls because I've always rented. But now I have my own home, and I want to put the speakers in the wall, so I've been doing a lot of research on how to do that. Watching a lot of YouTube tutorials. Hopefully, I'm watching the correct ones, and I end up doing a good job. But from an entertainment standpoint, I am obsessed right now with HBO's The Leftovers.
That is so. I'm 2 episodes behind, and I'm just like, I'm trying to find a time to watch it with my boyfriend, and we just haven't been able to catch up yet, and I'm freaking out because I haven't seen it yet.
I finish every episode just riveted.
Where do you think they went? If you guys haven't seen the show, this is in the first couple of seconds. You find out people all of a sudden just leave, and you should watch the AfterBuzz after show because we have friends on. I have friends who's on it, but they just disappear, and then it's 3 years later, and they still don't know where they went. What's
my theory?
Yeah.
I really haven't come up with a theory because I'm just so rapt watching, how these people are trying to get on with their lives, And what's interesting is usually with sci-fi, I have a difficult time suspending disbelief, But with this, for some reason, because the story is so well written and so well performed, it feels so grounded that you almost think, holy crap, this...
Like, what would I do if somebody was taken away from me?
Yeah, I mean, from a storytelling standpoint and a creative standpoint, it's so different and just so compelling. It's so unlike anything I've ever seen, and I am loving it. Loving it. Yeah.
Now, you were talking about with the home theater. You build your own furniture most of the time, right? What's your favorite thing to make?
I don't really have a favorite thing. I've never done one piece twice. I've never done the same piece twice. Everything's kind of a one-off. But I'm currently building a new. I just got a new house, and I got this nice big deck, and I can't find. Sometimes you just can't find the right furniture pieces to go with the space, and so I've decided I'm going to build the patio sofa daybed. And so that's my current project. It's going to be made out of teak and umbrella cushions, and
So cool.
I've never actually made patio furniture, so this will be my first foray into that world. But I mean, I just love building. It doesn't matter what it is. That's my sanctuary, going into my wood shop and just kind of closing the door and getting lost.
I think that's amazing. The closest thing I build to anything is IKEA.
Hey, that's
my go-to.
Those can be quite challenging.
That's
Those
true, 'cause
instructions are not.
They're not complete.
No.
You end up with spare pieces, and you're like, I hope this works.
Yeah, I mean, I think the trick is always to just get every screw that looks the same and put them in one pile, and then do the same before you ever get started. Because if you get to one stage and you realize you can't find that one screw, then the whole thing is like, it's subject
work.
to fall apart eventually. But yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
If you were going to buy furniture, what's your favorite shop to go to? Are you like a Pottery Barn? Are you an IKEA? Or
Well,
Home Depot, I mean, you can get stuff to make things with.
yeah.
But
Well, my favorite website to research on is Houzz, Houzz. It's awesome website. It's basically a user website where everybody submits photos of their designs and their interiors and exteriors, and it's all based on category, and you can research just about anything you're interested in. But I got my eyes focused on, or my heart set on this beautiful Saarinen tulip table that's sold at Design Within Reach right now. That's yeah. I mean, I love that store, but my God, is it expensive? But no, that store is probably my favorite right now. Yeah.
now you're in two of they're smaller parts, but they're amazing. Two of my favorite, one's a movie, one's a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what it was like kissing Jessica Lange in American Horror Story, Coven.
I never know quite what to say in talking about this, because I don't know what's like. At what point do I cross the line in talking about?
Well, she also kind of kills you while she kisses you,
She
so it
does
can't be
kill
that
me.
good of a kiss.
I
just based off of the end point of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you went based solely on how my character looks by the end of that kiss,
Yeah.
you'd say it was a pretty awful kiss.
It was good for her.
It was, yeah. Hey, she sucked that life out of me, man. Got her youth back, but it was awesome. I mean, just getting a chance to work with her, Academy Award winner, and work on a Ryan Murphy produced show, like that's what the highlight was for me. I mean, sure, kissing her was pretty cool as well, and she still got it. Let me tell you. But just great to get a chance to work with somebody like that, of that caliber and that professionalism.
So you've been on a few shows with witches.
Yeah.
Coven, Charmed, but you've also been on a few with vampires, like Angel and
Angel, yes. Drugged vamp
little
number 3.
Little side note, yeah, exactly. What's your preference? Witches or vampires? That's like a teen girl question. I don't even know where that came from, but I'm gonna go with it.
Vampires or witches?
Or if you had to play one.
If I had to play one.
You'd be more of a warlock, but
A warlock?
than a witch.
What's a warlock?
A male witch.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I think of warlock and I think of just like some ugly beast, with like a wart on his nose or something. That's what a warlock.
I don't mean it that way at all.
I'd probably like to be a vampire. I've always thought I have kind of like the facial structure of a vampire. But
Too tan right now. To
I'm
play
a little
one.
too tan.
Yeah.
Right? You're
You'd
absolutely
be
right.
burning in
You're
the sun.
absolutely right. Yeah, I would have been dead, 50 times over.
Maybe that's what vampires need to do to kind of blend in more. They just get a spray tan in Hawaii.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Something True Blood should. Well, they're kind of done with that, but I do True Blood for the after show.
Cool.
And another one of my favorites is The Hangover.
Mm-hmm.
How was it being on that set?
Intimidating.
Which is funny because you're the one with the gun shooting people.
Yeah, but I mean, their comedy guns are loaded, and mine was shooting blanks. I mean, those guys are so funny, and it was before everybody knew just how big Galifianakis was going to be, and how big Ed Helms was going to be, and same with
Yeah, even Bradley and Ken.
Bradley and Ken, you know, so it was surreal. You know, my character really didn't have to do much by way of comedy. I was more the straight guy, which is probably for the best, because if I tried to volley with them, you know, I probably would have gotten crushed.
But Ken's comedy kind of goes on to you guys because you're a sidekick.
A little bit, yeah. I mean,
so that whole team is funny then. I think Mr. Chow's gang.
If you actually, if you go online and you look up The Madness of Ken Jeong, it's this 7-minute clip of all of his best outtakes, and it's some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen ever. and you can tell because pretty much the entire 7 minutes you just see me laughing my ass off next to him. But I engaged in some of his shenanigans in some of the takes. But it was a lot of fun. It's definitely a highlight of my career for sure.
If you were going to Vegas, which one of them would you bring with? Let's go with their characters, just so then it's not personal. Which of their characters would you spend a night in Vegas with?
You know what? It would probably have to be either Mr. Chow or Phil. Bradley Cooper's character. Yeah. He's just so cool. I'd like to hang out with him.
So you could ride around in a cop car. See, you already know how to ride around in a cop car. You could give him some pointers,
I
too.
do. I could. I smash I smash cop cars. I blow up cop cars, and then I ride in them. So, yeah, I guess I'm pretty qualified to talk about them with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in here. I had so much fun. Tell the fans where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at IanAnthonyDale.com on Twitter and on Instagram.
And, of course, you can find him on TNT Monday nights, Murder in the First.
Yeah, tonight is episode 8, 10/9 Central on TNT.
Thank you so much for coming in. And, again, I'm Kristin Carole. You can find me here on True Blood right now. And I just went to ComicCon, still loading the enormous amount of footage we got, so you can check out that as well. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.